Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic as well. We've got a great program in store for you today, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a guest coming up. Going to be visiting with Diane Gottsman, and we're going to be talking about germs. I'm not a fan of germs. So if you want to get rid of germs, she's got some ideas.
Okay.
So that's on the way. This is a germy time of year, you know.
I don't mind germs.
You don't? But you don't want to get sick.
But I don't.
Yeah, you do too. Every once in a while.
No, I don't.
And it's usually from germs. What are you, Superwoman?
I am amazing.
You're immune to germs?
I never get sick because I'm always around germs. I don't avoid them. So when I do come in touch with them, I don't get sick.
Cough directly in your face from now on.
Whatever. You pretty much do.
I guess I kind of do. Hey, United is offering a new basic economy fare. However, you cannot bring carry-on bags, and you're the last one to board the plane. What a dumb thing. That's not a punishment. I mean, who wants to sit on a cramped little airplane when you got the whole airport to stroll around? Like, okay, it's cheaper for you, but you can't get on the plane until we're taxiing down the runway. You have to run alongside and jump in. I think that's kind of what they're doing. Got some special stuff going on this weekend. We'll tell you all about it in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. We'll start with Saturday, November the 19th, American Made Matters Day, Equal Opportunity Day, also Gettysburg Address Day, Family Volunteer Day, Guinness World Record Day, Have a Bad Day Day, International Games Day, Mother Goose Day, National Adoption Day, National Day of Play, National Survivors of Suicide Day, Playmobil's National Day of Play, Rocky and Bullwinkle Day, Use Less Stuff Day, World Philosophy Day, Women's Entrepreneurship Day, and World Toilet Day. All of that, and Sunday is African Industrialization Day, Crystal Skull World Day, Doodah Day, Globally Organized Hug a Runner Day, and that is abbreviated to Go Hard, Globally Organized Hug a Runner Day, Name Your PC Day, National Peanut Butter Fudge Day, Universal Children's Day, and World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims. That's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. So if you're bored this weekend, it's on you.
John and Heidi.
Would you like to lose weight? You could wait till New Year's to make a resolution, but most people that do that are done with them in a few weeks. No, they don't hit their goal. They just give up. If you struggle to keep your weight where you'd like it, maybe you should consider hypnosis. Many people have amazing results with hypnosis, and it's not as expensive as you think. We have a special weight loss hypnosis program for just $60 at radiosavings.com. Hypnosis can help reduce the cravings that cause you to overeat. Learn more about this special hypnosis weight loss system from Extreme Power Hypnosis at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. The day of steaming envelopes is over. An inventor has developed an aerosol spray that makes unopened envelopes transparent so the contents can be read. It says you spray it on and it temporarily makes the envelope clear.
That's not a good thing, is
Robert Schlegel, the inventor, says it leaves an odor for 10 to 15 minutes, but there's no smudging of ink, no stains, no evidence at all. The envelope is transparent for a few minutes, but you can respray it hundreds of times without leaving any stains. But don't worry if you think that a neighbor or family member can see your mail. The spray will be only offered to police and Secret Service agents.
Oh, that makes me feel much better.
Because, you know, it's not like we're worried about them reading any of our stuff. So there you go. I think it's kind of an interesting idea. I wonder how would you come up with an idea for something like that?
I don't know. Sounds like something out of a cartoon.
I know. This aerosol spray that he sprays on the envelope. The envelope is
wonder
invisible.
If it works on people.
Ooh, hey, there you go. Would you want to be invisible if you could? What would you do? Let me just say it this way. What would you do if you were invisible and you could do anything? What would you do?
I'd probably go to the dressing room at the stores and try on a bunch of clothes and then walk around the mall and freak people out.
Just clothes walking around the mall.
That would be awesome.
That is the kind of thing you would do. I'd be the guy that'd be like holding the door shut. People trying to get in are like, what's wrong with this door? I don't know. It's stuck. And let me try it. And then you move and let them, it's not stuck for me.
And I would definitely drive all over the place. I would have clothes on. And I would drive.
I'd ride a unicycle. Did you see that unicycle go by? It was the craziest thing ever. It was eating pizza. I don't know what was that. Hey, guys, still hungry. Anyway, I don't think it makes us invisible, but it does make envelopes invisible. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. This is an interesting story. An Ohio man reportedly called 911 numerous times, threatening to harm himself after he had downed an entire bottle of Everclear. The reason for his mindless intoxication? Well, his pet pig Millie, he had eaten all of his marijuana. Yeah. He was charged
His
with...
pig ate his
Yes.
marijuana.
He was charged with disorderly conduct, and prior to detainment, he journaled that he would be placing his marijuana on higher shelves from now on. Additionally, he said he'll be having baked ham for dinner quite soon.
I doubt that.
Does that mean that the pig was baked from the marijuana, or he was going to kill his pig and eat it?
I think he was saying he was going to eat his pig, but I don't think he'll do that.
You never know. This is not the brightest guy in the, he could. And if you're listening, thanks for listening. Coming up, we've got some more stuff like your moment of duh and your scoop of the day. It is all on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. In Texas, a guy stopped by a pizza restaurant. He hadn't been there very long when he decided to take a couple of bottles of wine from behind the bar without paying for them.
Oh, man.
After a brief scuffle with a restaurant employee, the guy took off. Police had no trouble tracking him down, though, because before he stole the wine, he had struck up a conversation with the bartender and given him his business card. Yeah. They're like, this guy robbed the place. How do you have his business card? Well, he gave it to me first.
Wow.
And then he robbed the place. So this is probably not going to be a Genius of the Year award going to this guy, but that happened down in Texas. Coming up, we're going to talk about staying off Facebook, because remember what we said this weekend? I cannot be on Facebook, so I'm not on Facebook this weekend. So...
Well, that's not entirely true now, is it? Because you were just on...
Okay, I haven't been on Facebook this whole weekend. So, no, I scheduled some things to post. We've got some things that are posting on our page, but I'm staying off Facebook all weekend. So there. Facebook won't miss me at all. But we're going to tell you all about that coming up in a bit.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. Staying off Facebook could make you happier. I'll tell you on Monday if that's true. The study out of Denmark used 1,095 participants, with half being asked to dump Facebook for a week. The results showed that those who left Facebook reported significantly higher life satisfaction. Here's the thing I got to say. Up until this election, I would say Facebook contributed to my life satisfaction. And now, since the election and like the last 9 months, Facebook's driving me nuts. So, I don't know. Hey, there are some people, speaking of the election, that were quite upset about Pepsi over something that didn't even really happen. That didn't even really happen. Did you know that?
I don't know.
The president-elect, Donald Trump, and his supporters, well, it wasn't him, it was just the supporters, they were threatening to boycott Pepsi over a fabricated statement that was circulating on social media. Twitter users, many citing debunked news articles, claimed that Pepsi's CEO told Trump fans to, quote, take their business elsewhere. That didn't happen. Sites designed to trick people, including TruthFeed and Gateway Pundit, which I've never been to either of those, published the fake quote while encouraging readers to, quote, stop buying Pepsi products, end quote. They said it, not me. Gateway Pundits also incorrectly claimed that Pepsi stock plunged 5% because of the comment that was never even made. So, first of all, the comment was never made. Second of all, their stocks didn't plunge like they said that they did. So there you go. That whole thing just kind of makes you wonder what the heck's going on.
Okay, so which
People get
site
worked
are
up.
you getting your information from? Is it Snopes by chance?
No, I don't go there. Because here's the thing. I have Snopes. I've caught things on there that they claim, and I'm like, ooh, that's not accurate.
The time.
I wouldn't say all the time, but here's the time. Stop for a second. Here's the thing I got to say, and it has to be said. You can have an opinion, but if you let your opinion change the facts, if you're changing the story to make it fit your opinion, that's when there's a problem. And that's what you're talking about. You see things on there that don't fit your opinion. They do fit their opinion. They could probably prove them in a court of law, and they could say, no, this is absolutely accurate, but it's their version of the truth. So here's the thing. When it comes right down to it, I'm glad I'm off Facebook this weekend. I'm staying off. I might stay off forever.
I'm still not drinking Pepsi.
Yeah. Oh, Heidi.
I'm not.
Let's move on to this. Last year's hot ride was what? The hoverboard.
I have no idea.
You don't remember the hoverboard?
I remember some fake ridiculous
the things with wheels on them?
Thing that was supposed to be a hoverboard, but it wasn't a hoverboard.
Hoverboard's supposed to hover, right? Well, last year they had these things come out that were called hoverboards, but they were two-wheel machines, and you stand on them and you move. We have a neighbor kid that's on his all the time. He's really good on that thing.
It's not a hoverboard.
But that's what they're called. They're called hoverboards.
Liars. They're dirty liars.
They're liar-faced liars?
Liar-faced liars.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, those were huge last year and literally hot since many of them actually caught fire. But the hot ride for next year could be free skates. Imagine cutting a small skateboard in half and putting one under each of your feet. The free skates are not attached to each other or the rider's feet, so you can move and jump your legs around any way you want. You can even flip up and do kind of crazy kind of tricks if you want. So this is supposedly going to be like the big thing of 2017, according to the story that I'm reading. And if you want to see a video, luckily for you, I posted it in advance, because I'm doing a Facebook free weekend. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Now, if you're doing a Facebook free weekend as well, you'll just have to check it out later. So there you go. All right, that's going to do it for our Scoop of the Day. We got some fun facts on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Weekend Edition.
John and Heidi.
We just wrapped up one of the most contentious elections in the history of our nation. Some are excited about the outcome, others not so excited. We want to remind you that we're still one nation, under God, indivisible. We've made it through many things, and we'll make it through this too. Let's do it together. At PoliticalStorm.com, we've been covering this election from both sides, and we want to thank the many contributors that have helped make that possible. We also invite you to become a contributor too with a free blog. Let's share all of the reasons to come together and unify as a nation. Share your voice at PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest on the line right now. We're going to be talking about the spread of germs. This is a time of year where people are getting the little sniffles and not feeling so great. And we have Diane Gottsman on the line. She's a national etiquette expert. How are you doing, Diane?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank goodness I don't have any illness of any kind that I feel right now. But this is definitely the time of year that more people get that, isn't it?
It is. And, germs are always in season. But during the holidays, we are going to be visiting with family and friends. And we want to make sure that we know our P's and Q's when it comes to cold and flu etiquette.
So now there's a survey from Robitussin, and it says 73% of Americans don't view a cough as an indicator of sickness. When you're starting to see these warning signs, most people don't see that as a warning sign.
That's right. And, only 54% take extra measures to be sanitary when sick. So I think that it's important that we take seriously our sniffles and our coughs.
That's kind of like the check engine light, isn't it?
That's right. That's right.
And if you go, well, that's fine, it'll be fine. Well, it might be fine, or it might be something major.
Well, and I think that we need to look at our own behavior and decide how we're going to protect ourselves and others. And that's by taking some precautions. So, for example, if you're under the weather, you want to avoid handshakes, hugs, kisses, any kind of personal contact with another person until after your symptoms have subsided. You want to cover your mouth into your left shoulder. Now, you'll have to imagine this because you're not looking at me, but you're coughing into your left shoulder or the crook of your left arm. That way you're not using your hands. Now, if you're using your hands and using tissue, use your left hand and sneeze or cough into your tissue and then immediately sanitize, because you want to stay free from germs and keep others free from germs.
And I suppose if you're coughing all over your hands and then you're shaking hands with other people, that's the spread of all those germs right to them.
That's right. You know, the same survey found that only 36% of Americans say they always wash their hands after a cough and a sneeze. So we have to remember that when we're extending our hand for a handshake. And we want to teach our children to do the same, to be sanitary and wash their hands with warm, sudsy water. And sing the alphabet song with them very slowly so they'll have an idea of how long they should be sudsing and lathering up.
What can I do when sickness strikes?
Well, I think you need to take heed. So if you are going to work, you need to talk to your boss, call in, say, I'm feeling under the weather, and your boss is going to be so understanding because it is the season, and you're going to rest. That doesn't mean you're going to go to the grocery store, you're going to go see a movie. You're going to stay home, stay in bed if you're really feeling poorly. If you can work remotely from home, certainly do that, teleconference, but cancel any meetings that you have and let them know that you're going to reschedule because you're protecting them. You're under the weather.
And again, this is the time of year where that's very common, so most people will be very understanding.
We would hope they would be understanding. And, you know, we tend to think that people can't do without us when we're going to work. But we're not any good to anyone when we are feeling badly. So just try and get well, come back when you are most productive.
How do you decide whether to use sick days or not use sick days? Is there a good indication of when you should make sure you take a sick day?
Well, I think when you're, we're going to use our plain old common sense. You know, when you're feeling poorly, when you are running fever, definitely that's a sick day. And when you're feeling better and you're back up and you still have some of the symptoms, I think it's important to minimize those symptoms. For example, you would use a remedy such as Robitussin 12-hour cough relief. You would get your rest. Don't stay out too long. Bring some hot tea with you to the office. Do what you can so you are comfortable in your environment.
Very nice. And then how do we make sure that as a parent, we're setting the right example for our kids? Because, you know, a lot of people listening are probably parents. So what do we do to make sure we set the right example for those youngsters?
Well, I think they're watching us. So certainly when we discussed it a little while ago, you teach them to wash their hands. You teach them to eat well and stay healthy. And if they are sick, you keep them home. You don't send them to school with a fever, and you don't send them back until their fever has subsided. And that also includes their extracurricular activities. So you let them know as a parent, you let them know what the priority is, and the priority is to stay healthy.
Again, our guest today, Diane Gottsman, etiquette expert. Diane, if we'd like to get some more tips and some good ideas on, you know, when we should take heed and when we will be fine to just move forward, do you have a website we can go to?
You can learn more tips on how to stay healthy by visiting Robitussin.com.
That is some good stuff too, by the way.
Thanks so much.
It is. I've been under the weather myself, and that's been some good stuff to help me get not so under the weather. So thank you guys for putting that stuff out there.
Thanks for having me.
And again, Diane Gottsman has been our guest today, etiquette expert. And if you'd like to know more, maybe get some ideas on how to hopefully not get sick, but if you do get unsick quicker, Robitussin.com. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Are you ready for Duel? Kyle Dowling on guitar, Brett Gunderson on bass, Sam DeVito on drums, and frontman Duel Shape.
Gotta keep rocking, gotta keep sucking, bringing it down like rain.
Duel's new single just hit iTunes and it's selling fast. Get your copy now.
You're lacking pain, then you feel no pain. Supernova gonna get you too.
Their first single, Supernova, is available now for less than $1. Learn more and find a direct link to buy Supernova at facebook.com/duelrocks.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Donald Duck's middle name is?
Fauntleroy.
Yeah, you know this. She's good. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Happy Birthday was the first song to be performed in outer space.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was sung by the Apollo 4
See,
astronauts.
that I did not know.
March 8th, 1969. So Happy Birthday, the first song to be performed in outer space that we know of. In 1915, I'm sorry. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sorry. In 1915, the average annual family income in the United States was how much per year?
1915?
1915.
Per year?
So 101 years ago.
I don't know. $1,200 a year.
Ooh, that'd have been a wealthy, wealthy family. The average family income 101 years ago, $687 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In 1977, less than 9% of physicians in the U.S. were women. Yeah. So over 91% of the doctors in 1977 were men.
Okay.
So there you go. A couple of fun facts for you this weekend.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. If your pinky and ring fingers are tingling or feel numb, you might not want to pick up your cell phone to call the doctor. It's what they're calling cell phone elbow. Have you ever heard of this? Mm-hmm. Too much cell phone use can lead to overextending nerves, causing what doctors are now calling cell phone elbow. Orthopedic specialists are reporting cases of cell phone elbow in which patients damage an essential nerve in their arm by bending their elbow too tightly for too long. Mm-hmm. So pretend like you're holding your phone up to your ear. Look what you're doing.
I know.
Bending it too tightly for too long. So it says here, bending the elbow tighter than 90 degrees for an extended period of time will stretch the ulnar nerve by 8 to 15%, and that causes problems. Now, the remedies are actually pretty simple. You want to know what you do?
Stretch out your arm.
You're playing on your phone right now.
I'm listening.
Every time I look over, are you texting someone or are you playing a game?
I'm playing Candy Crush.
Are you really?
Yeah.
She's getting paid to play Candy Crush. Oh, wait a minute. No.
Am I getting paid?
No, you're not getting paid.
No.
It's a weekend edition. You're just here. So first thing you're supposed to do is avoid activities that require your elbow to be bent tighter than 90 degrees. So that would be like put down the phone. Next, fix workstations so your elbows are not overly flexed. So if maybe it's because of a position where you're working and you got to bend a lot, they're saying try to fix that if you can. And the last one is do not lean on your elbows for an extended period of time. So like right now, look what I'm doing. What am I doing? I got my elbows on the counter here. So I'm supposed to take those off. Oh man, now I got to hold myself up? No way. I can't do this. I'll be doing the show from down here for the rest of the program. Okay, no, I won't. I'll stay up here. But you're supposed to do all of that stuff. Otherwise, you might have what they call cell phone elbow. So there you go. Coming up, we're going to talk about a surefire way to have that kid that's on the way.
John and Heidi.
When is the last time you changed the air filter on your furnace? Now, don't be embarrassed. That happens to a bunch of us. The furnace filter should be changed often. This will help your heating and cooling system run more efficiently, and it'll even extend the life of your system. Now, there's an easy way to make it happen. Filter Easy, a new subscription service that delivers your size filter right to your door on the schedule you choose. It's easy. Filter Easy. One less thing to worry about. Learn about a special offer available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
After 9 months of pregnancy and many discomforts, many expectant mothers will try just about anything to get that baby to come out. Now, I remember we had a lot of false alarms where we were like, oh, let's go. No, everything's fine. No, let's go. No, everything's fine. So there's some old wives' tales that claim to be successful, but one tasty dish served down south actually does some amazing things. According to Yahoo Foods, since 1980, Scalini's Italian restaurant in Cobb County, Georgia, has been cooking up a recipe for eggplant parmesan that owners say bring on labor within 48 hours for hundreds of patrons every year.
Interesting.
Yeah, a myriad of online testimonials, along with photos of hundreds of babies hung inside the restaurant's dining room, contribute to the dish's lore. In fact, sometimes the actions start before they even get to dessert. So there you go. You could have a kid right there in the booth. Well, maybe not that, but they're saying that house, some special eggplant parmesan. So there you go. Coming up, we've got a fun story here about a guy who wants to get a tax rebate, but he can't get it because the government thinks he's dead. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Sometimes I just kind of laugh at our government. 20-year-old Stephen Dersher has been refused a tax rebate because the government says he's dead. Now, this is not our country. This is in Canada. The Canadian man recently wrote to the county's revenue agency asking for a tax rebate. The response was addressed to his estate and declined the request because you're dead. He says, I'm trying to convince the government that I'm actually alive. He was quoted as saying, I want the government to make me alive again so I can get on with my life. So there you go. Now, if he were dead...
Well, if he's dead, he no longer has to pay taxes, period, right?
Yeah, that's what you'd think, but they're still taking his taxes. He just doesn't get a refund anymore.
Wow.
I don't know. Anyway, that's happening on the other side of the border. So, all these people that said, well, if Trump's elected, I'm going to Canada. See what you have to look forward to?
You go right on ahead.
You know
Good
what?
luck to you.
I'm sure it's fine. And I'm sure this is probably very unusual, like it would be here. Coming up, I got a happy story and a sad story all together. It's all on the way.
John and Heidi.
We just wrapped up one of the most contentious elections in the history of our nation. Some are excited about the outcome, others not so excited. We want to remind you that we're still one nation, under God, indivisible. We've made it through many things, and we'll make it through this too. Let's do it together. At PoliticalStorm.com, we've been covering this election from both sides, and we want to thank the many contributors that have helped make that possible. We also invite you to become a contributor too with a free blog. Let's share all of the reasons to come together and unify as a nation. Share your voice at PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
It's not often that I have a happy, sad story, but I have one today, Heidi.
Okay.
Should we start with the happy part or the sad start?
Sad story.
We'll start with the happy part.
Okay.
Very few Chicago Cubs fans can say they were alive for the Cubs' last 2 World Series victories. According to Yahoo News, Mabel Ball can. She was born in 1908, shortly before the Cubs won the World Series. She waited 108 years to see them do it again, passing away just 6 days after the Cubs took home the most recent title. How sad is that? She just passed away. Her longevity and loyalty to the Cubs made her something close to a celebrity in her final days. However, the 108-year-old remained humble to the end. When her 75-year-old son asked her, "What do you think about being a celebrity?" she told him, "It's a lot of nonsense." I think that's fun. And then there's another story. There were 2 different stories, but it was the same story, but just printed twice. So this one says, an Illinois woman born in 1908 had just passed away 1 week after her beloved Chicago Cubs won the World Series. Mabel Ball, born the same year the Cubs had previously won the World Series, died in the Chicago suburb of Northbrook. Says her 75-year-old son, Rich Ball, the cruel irony, the almost unbelievable irony, is that the person who waits and waits and waits after it happens says, I've done what I've got to do, and now I'm out of here. So,
yeah, I could see that.
This
is what I was waiting for, so I'm done.
So there you go. And again, and I know it's old news now that they won, but it's still really cool. But I think it would have been so cool if it would have happened last year, because Back to the Future, they were wrong about 2 things.
I know.
They
were waiting for that.
I know.
Hoping.
I was like, I was thinking maybe I should put some money on the Cubbies. That's what the guy said in the movie, for those of you who've never seen the movie. So wish I could go back to the beginning of the season and put some money on the Cubbies. Anyway, that, and then also the lace-up shoes, those came this year, so 1 year too late. And then there's a dude that's actually working on like a real hoverboard right now that does hover, and that's like a year too late. I'm like, Back to the Future was 100% right, but they're 1 year off.
1 year off.
There you go. Coming up, some good news. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. I think this is good news. When 2 vets died with no family to mourn them, strangers made sure that they did not die alone. Funeral services were held late last week in Corpus Christi, Texas, for Army veteran Clifford Ray Dudley and Marine Lance Corporal Dennis Ray Ashley. However, neither had family or friends to attend their burial, so the Coastal Bend State Veterans Cemetery put out a call to the public seeking people who would attend the funeral with full military honors for the two men. Guess how many people showed up, Heidi?
How many?
An estimated 400. All strangers to Dudley and Ashley showed up to pay tribute. Isn't that just nice?
It'd be nice if it was more than that. 400 is a good number, but
more than that.
But
I mean, I don't think
they're
you'd have
heroes. You know,
I
more
understand
than
this,
400
but I'm
should have been
saying
there.
that is awesome. I don't think I'd have 400 people come to my funeral if I died. I
think you would.
Do I know 400 people? I don't think I do. You're all invited, just in case it happens soon. Just saying.
I think you would.
I just think that that's really cool that 400 strangers, you need to remember, these weren't people that knew them. You know, these are 400 strangers who said, it means enough to me that I'm going to go.
No,
because these men
understood.
served our country.
Yeah,
so
but they're heroes.
They
So
are,
they
absolutely.
should have
And
absolutely had.
once again, even though I'm taking a Facebook free weekend, I did post this on our Facebook page ahead of time, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. So if you want to check it out, you can go there. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. I made it almost all the way through the weekend with no Facebook. And so far, I've only checked my phone 948 times. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Took Facebook off for the weekend. I encourage you to try this. I think it's a whole lot of fun. And just think if we could all, go back to the way things used to be. I'm actually reading a book this weekend, which is amazing.
Wouldn't that be blissful?
I remember I used to read a book a weekend, and now it's like I
read
never
all
read.
the time.
I got like 7 books started. I just got to, finish them. So I'll see what I can get done this weekend. Thanks for listening.